Guys, Southeast Softwash, we're here at the house that we were at last Friday during our big pickup training day. We came back today to finish it up. We were just doing demos here. So today's a learning day for Jonathan, doing a little bit of extra training, and Mike is here. He's trying to hide off camera, but they're new and they're learning and just making sure they know what they're doing. Micah goes and helps sometimes he helps in the shop. But Thursday of last week had some issues out in the field, and so today we're just doing some residual training. We'll bring you guys along for the ride. So this particular job, that's my house right there. It's my next door neighbor's house. It's a driveway, sidewalk, partial roof cleaning, and a house wash. There's a little bit of everything going on here. So let's walk through what we would do when we arrive on location for a job like this. What I like to do, if I'm gonna be cleaning the driveway, doing the roof, and doing the house, I'd like to go ahead and put a coat on this driveway. The reason I do that is I'm gonna let that pre-treatment be doing its thing while we're doing something else. So there's, 30, 40 minutes that it can sit there and dwell and start attacking some of that nastiness on the concrete surfaces. The next thing I would do would be to put a coat on the roof. Now, we've pretty much already cleaned this roof. There wasn't a lot of spots, but there were a few and they were pretty dirty. So I would coat the roof. Again, same concept, because we want to let that have a little bit of dwell time to be able to work. A lot of times on your roofs, you're going to do 2 coats. And so let's go ahead and put that first coat on there, and then we'll go ahead and wash our house. While we're washing the house, we've got a roof that's dwelling and we've got a driveway that's dwelling. So hope that makes sense. We've pretty much done all that here. We're about to leave and let them finish up, but let's walk up here and look at the house and see if we can see anything. Just things you need to watch for. Pre-treating your concrete. First off, if there's going to be any spots where that runoff goes to, let's say right here on the grass, and you're going to have a SH puddle right there, you're going to have some dead grass. So this one is not really going to have any pockets that's going to gather a lot of runoff, so we're okay. But if we did have a place where it's draining a concentrated amount to, we'd want to flood that spot and take care of it. You may have to go and rinse the whole edge of the driveway just to make sure you get that stuff diluted down. We'll walk up here to the house. And this is not going to be a how to wash a house video. I'm going to do that eventually when we get a dirty one, but not on this one. So pretty straightforward stuff here on the face of this house. Nothing jumping out at me saying, hey, watch out for me. We've got some shrubbery and bushes, rose bushes up here, but nothing crazy. So what percent do we need to spray this vinyl siding at? And we'll pause and see if you can guess. If you said 3%, you're wrong. If you said 2%, you're wrong. If you said 1.5, you're getting closer to right. This isn't all that dirty, so we're going to be around 1%. The higher you go in bleach strength, the more chances you've got of damaging all this landscaping, the more chances you have of messing up electrical stuff, and you're also wasting bleach, so it costs money. Bleach isn't free. We'll walk up here and let you see on the front porch. There are a few things that we'd want to take note of on the porch. Before we get there, look at this. Dead spot. Affected, something's going on here. It's got blight or something wrong with this bush. If we don't document that, we don't make a note of it, the homeowner can come back and say, hey, you messed my bush up right here. Now, house wash mix hurting these bushes, it's almost impossible, but it's doable. If it's hot outside and you get a coat on this stuff and you don't rinse it off, you can damage shrubbery, but we'd want to make a note of that and say, hey, that was already like that before we got here, so we're just covering our butts here. Coming down this way, we've got some rose bushes here, and they look fine. This one here looks a little puny, but we didn't do that. So again, I want to make a note of that. So these probably aren't. Roses do that. They'll have funky looking leaves on them throughout the year. But nothing here is really askew. We've got a floodlight here. It looks to be in pretty good shape, sealed up, but we're not going to flood the floodlight with SH or water. We're just going to rinse it off and hit it real quick. Come up here to the front porch. You see where we sprayed the roof? We've got a downspout, and that's suds coming from where we treated the front of the roof, and it's sprinkling rain out here, so it's creating some suds. What I'd want to do is find out where that thing goes, and it's easy in this case because it goes right there. So we're going to flood that downspout before we leave, because SH is going straight to this little shrub. So we didn't put much up there, but I still want to make sure that I'm not going to damage this shrub. there should be some things that jump out to you when you walk up on this front porch. Number one, the big obvious one, is this stained front door, okay? If you get SH on a stained front door, you get to restain a front door a lot of times. So you want to be careful with this. It's a really good idea to tape them off with plastic. The easiest way to find out if it's going to damage it or not is to do a test spot. Test spot, test spot, test spot. Get it tattooed on the back of your arm, test spot. How would you do that? Well, you'd get a little bit of mix on your finger, and what I'll do is I'll come down here to the bottom on the inside somewhere and rub a little spot, and then I'll go off and do something at the truck. Give it a few minutes to see if it's going to affect that door or the stain. And it doesn't have to be a door, it can be shutters, anything stained, any kind of stained or delicate looking surface like that. Do a test spot. If you're taking photos, you want to make a note of right here, there's a little bit of wear. It's just normal wear and tear on the front door, but I don't want them saying that I did this. Right here, we've got a intercom doorbell. Now, this right here looks pretty normal. Like, not everybody has this kind of doorbell, but look at this. The whole doorbell is just sitting in there, okay? So what may look okay at a glance may not be okay. The proper way to do this would be to tape this off, and when you tape these things off, guys, you'd want to start down here and make a row of tape here and work your way up to that next lap. Basically, you created a row of shingles, and then take the whole face of this thing off so that any runoff is coming down, it's not going to go back behind the wall. Now, we didn't take this off because we know how to do this. We've been doing this a long time. I can wash this and not hurt it. Not a great idea. Best practice is to tape it off. That way you know you're okay, because you're gambling. Every time you do that, you're gambling that you know what you're doing. I'm good. You may be good, you may not be, and you may be replacing this doorbell. You may cause a fire. So the best practice is to tape them off. Another thing, if you get spray in these locks, you may want to go back and hit that with some WD-40 because it can rust the tumblers out inside the lock. If you tape the whole thing off, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're going to hit it and wash it, at the very least, you need to be on an extremely low, like 0.5% SH on these wooden doors. And then you'll want to go make sure you rinse that lock out really good. You can be replacing some locks on a homeowner's house because you didn't take the time to do that. This stuff right here, most of the time you don't have to worry about this. It's color fast. It's an actual cushion that's made to be outside, so it's not going to hurt it if you're around 1%. You wouldn't want to hit that with 5% mix. And if they've got some cushions that they brought outside from indoors that aren't supposed to be outside, you definitely want to move those. And we normally move this stuff around, but we don't necessarily put these up before we start the wash process. Nothing else really on the front porch to be concerned about. We do have this right here. We've got an outlet, and it's kicked away from the wall a little bit. So it's a covered outlet. It does have the covers on there. But again, best practice would be to take that booger off. Now, you got to be careful with tape too, because if you tape it and you don't seal it up and you get SH back in there, well, now it can't get back out. It's stuck in there. So at the very least, tape them carefully, and keep your rinse, whatever you're using to rinse with, keep that handy. So if you do get a little bit of SH in there, listen to those. While we're rinsing the front porch, we're going to be listening. If we hear any snap, crackles, and pops, it's not a bowl of Rice Krispies. We've got an outlet that's arcing, which is very bad. So we need to have a plan. How are we going to handle that if that happens? We're going to rinse it out. You may have a fire extinguisher on the truck. This is a epic fail. If you do this, you're screwed. Like, you will burn a house down. So guys that think that all we do is spray water and it's super simple, it is easy to an extent, but you can damage stuff big time. You can kill some landscaping. You can ruin a couple $1,000 stained front door. You can fry an outlet and not know what you're doing and screw it up. These ceiling fans right here, there's some tricks to making sure you don't ruin these ceiling fans. One thing you can do is take a Rubbermaid trash can lid. They're about that big around outside trash can lid. Poke a hole in the middle of it with a hole saw and cut it to the edge with some snips like this. And then you can just take that, slide it over the top of the ceiling fan, and keep that thing shielded. You can bag them, but it's really aggravating to try to bag those things. Nothing else out here looks crazy. These pickets, now they're going to have to be cleaned. When you spray the pickets this way to clean this side, where's the overspray going? It's going on the shrubbery. There's nowhere else it can go. So you want to make sure that you rinse all the shrubbery off very thoroughly. The front porch floor is painted. It's not going to be damaged at all. I don't think. Am I missing anything, Doug? Nothing up here.
Other than that, right there too.
Yeah, and like this. This some little raggedy bush. They probably haven't paid this any attention for 3 months. Who knows how long? That's probably from Christmas, if I had to guess. But look at it versus this one. This one looks pretty good. Well, they may have not watered it, and this may be their, as soon as you damage it, this is their favorite bush that their great-great-grandma gave them. They passed it down for years and years. Take a picture of that. Take a photo, take a video. That way you're covered. If something does come back on you, you can say, well, I didn't cause that. And if you did cause it, make it right. I think we'll walk over here on the side of the house. And there's not much really else to talk about. I'm gonna do a how to wash a house video like we did the how to do a roof cleaning video eventually, but that won't be today. So this is an easy wall. There's no electrical over here. The shrubs and bushes that we have, they're about that far, about 18 inches away from the siding. So we're not worried about overspray a whole lot. We're still gonna rinse them off, but we're about 1%, and they're far out, so it's okay. We've got a floodlight there. We're just gonna watch that thing, not flood it out a whole lot. Don't put a bunch of mix, don't put a bunch of water on it, just hit it and go. The windows up here look okay. Up at the very peak, we've got one of the octagonal vents, a little stop sign shaped vent. Now I won't stand right there and flood that thing because I'm gonna be shooting water into the attic. Same thing, these overhangs here, they're not vented. Sometimes you'll see the ones that have the vent holes in it, like the front porch has. Well, if you're spraying that, water's going up inside that overhang. So you gotta do that on a fan spray, hit it quickly, that way you're not flooding up inside the attic. But this is an easy wall. Now we clean this from the ground. Jonathan, am I lying? Because we've rolled the hoses up and they can't see it. Friday we were here and we didn't come over here to this tall side, but this is pretty tall. This is 3 full floors and that's way on up there. 12 volt will reach this from the ground. We just did it. As long as you don't have any air leaks, you can get about 45 feet of distance. We actually measured ours in the shop the other day. Arcing it as far as we could get it was like 52 feet. But normally I tell people 40 feet just because I'm trying to be on the conservative side of that. We'll go over here. I want to show y'all one more thing and then we'll let you go. All right, so at this point, we've washed this side of the house, we've washed the front, we've washed the far side. What jumps out at you from this perspective? You're looking right here. What grabs your attention? There's a couple things. The garage door's open, but that's not what I'm talking about. If you said Japanese maple, you're right. They've got a very expensive, huge Japanese maple right here, and we do not want to get any SH on that. And if we do, we're gonna rinse that baby off a whole lot. Make sure we get it rinsed off. It don't do a bit of good to go out and do this would be about $400 house wash, a couple $100 roof cleaning, a couple $300 concrete. You know, this would be about $1,000 ticket in our area if we did the whole thing. So what if you make $1,000 and you burn up an outlet, you strip the front door down to bare wood, and you burn up half their Japanese maple? Well, now you're in the whole $4 grand. Plus your reviews are not gonna be 5-star, they're gonna be 1-star. So as easy as this is, guys, and I make it look easy, there's the other YouTube guys out there, Aaron's channel, Bobby's channel. Go watch Bobby's video from a couple weeks ago where his tech sprayed a house down and they spent $8,000 repainting it because they didn't identify oxidation, sprayed it with a hot mix, pulled the oxidation, then they had to go back and paint a house. You can screw up. It's not that easy. It's easy work, but there's a lot more involved to it. So these are just kind of the highlights on this job here. There's other stuff that you'd watch for. When we got here, that box was on the front porch. They have a food subscription box, so that's a box of food. We wouldn't want to leave that on the front porch and spray SH all over it and ruin it. So just move that stuff out. Dog bowls, cat bowls. There's a lot of things you got to watch for. Runoff, just all sorts of stuff. So hope that video helps. We haven't done any how-tos in a while, so that's kind of sort of the highlights of this particular job and what you'd be looking out for. And there's more here, but again, just wanted to throw some quick stuff out there. Hope y'all have a great Tuesday Tuesday it is. We'll let you go. Let these guys get back and they'll finish all this flat work, and we're gonna go back to the shop, work on some trailers and skids. Thanks for watching.